Hey guys, so today I want to talk about using perspective in your painting. When you look at a photograph of anything that has buildings in it, there are in fact many invisible lines in them that intersect to create a vanishing point. Look at this street scene. The horizon here is obviously going to be blocked off by these buildings, but we can still get a good idea of where it would be. So let's put it at about here. Now let's see how all these invisible lines come to life and how they intersect on this horizon at various points. Notice how from any place I decide to pick them from, they all eventually meet together somewhere on this horizon. This is important to remember if you're trying to paint something that has buildings in it, and so you need to understand the angles at which you lay them out in the beginning. Here's another example. This photo doesn't have a horizon per se, but it does have a focal point, which is actually below the bottom of the photo, so it's cropped out of it. But let's see where all these invisible lines here take us. The intersection here takes us to where the photographer's feet should be, somewhere around here. So now let's take a look at one of my paintings. So take a look at this painting that I have recently started. Obviously I have a long way to go with it, but it's basically a painting of a bard playing a lute in front of some animals. Try to find what is wrong with it. Do you notice anything that seems to be off? If you haven't noticed already, it's the perspective. Specifically, it's the stone fence that the bard is sitting on. Look at the way it lines up, or rather misaligns with the horizon. Naturally, the horizon is a vanishing point in paintings, and yet what we have here is an inconsistency between the horizon and where the stone fence will disappear to. The angles don't match up. If this fence were to continue to its vanishing point, it would be way above the horizon. One solution would be to lower the fence in this painting, but that would beat the whole purpose of this painting because the animals would disappear into the bottom. Another solution would be to shrink down the fence and change the angles of it so that it would fit into this vanishing point on the horizon. That can indeed work, but for the context here, it would be too small for the bard to be sitting on. What I would do in this situation is to first off raise the horizon to about here. That way you can see how it already starts to look better. Now you have the flexibility to have the fence be able to line up with the horizon, but we still need to make sure that this fence has the proper angles where it would still have its own vanishing point. It doesn't matter where it lines up on the horizontal axis, as long as it properly lines up on the vertical axis, which is the horizon. When you're painting anything man-made, it's probably going to involve using perspective. Painting landscapes is different than painting something like a group of buildings. Landscape painting has an approach that's more organic, both figuratively and literally. But with buildings, you have to spend some time measuring and figuring out what angles go where. Using perspective in painting is another thing you need to pay attention to in your composition. It's one of those elements that can be easily overlooked if you try to rush the painting. When you make a painting, ask yourself questions like who is the viewer inside the painting? How far away are the objects of interest relative to the viewer inside the painting? These are the things to think about when you're painting. Keep in mind these principles. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.